This is Win News.
Tonight, a crash closes part of the Hume all night. Beechworth hosts one of its biggest festivals. And Brendan Favola bows out in style. Good evening, I'm Bruce Roberts. Also tonight, a Wodonga man charged over a pharmacy burglary. 3 people have been taken to hospital following a serious crash on the Hume. The Toyota Hilux left the freeway before it rolled just before 6:30 last night, forcing the southbound lane to be closed for more than 12 hours.
Police and emergency services were called to the scene on the Hume freeway just before 6:30 last night. Ashley Charlton, Win News.
With many holidaymakers on the road home, Border Police is still out in force this Easter. Highway Patrol officers say they're impressed by motorist behaviour, detecting only a small number of offenders this long weekend.
Victorian Operation Nexus and New South Wales Operation Tortoise had unexpected results, as long weekend operations in the northeast saw a small number of offences compared with previous years. Kathleen O'Connor, Win News.
Wodonga detectives are looking for a man wanted in relation to a burglary investigation. Police are currently investigating a series of burglaries and thefts which have occurred in a number of towns along the Hume Freeway between Wodonga and Kilmore. Detectives are also investigating the subsequent use of credit cards reported stolen during the offences. Investigators urging residents with any information to contact Crime Stoppers or police. A 31-year-old Wodonga man will face court tomorrow, charged in relation to the burglary of a pharmacy last week. The charges come after police executed a search warrant on an Athol Street property on Thursday. The man appeared in an out-of-sessions hearing and was remanded in custody to reappear at the Wodonga Magistrates Court tomorrow. He's charged with 2 counts of burglary and theft and 1 charge of attempted burglary and criminal damage. A change of pace, and Beechworth has hosted one of its biggest Golden Horseshoe festivals. Around 20,000 people flocked to the annual parade.
It's been 161 years since aspiring politician Daniel Cameron rode into town on a horse shod with golden horseshoes. Andrew Moyer, Win News.
Federal member for Murray, Sharman Stone, has signalled an end to her political career after 20 years. With her 65th birthday approaching, Dr Stone has released a statement saying she's honoured to have worked with many great men, women and children, but it's now time to pass on the torch. The federal MP has been credited for supporting farmers' rights, including the ongoing fight to retain water in the district for food production in the face of the Murray-Darling Basin Plan, and the decision to stand against her government during the SPC funding battle in 2014. A pre-selection will be held to choose a replacement in coming weeks. 2 hikers reported lost near Mount Beauty were located safe and well earlier today. Police and emergency services attended the Bogong area to locate and walk the 2 out of the bush just before midday. They'd been able to communicate with police via text to make their location known. The police air wing was on standby but was not needed in the search. There were no injuries reported during the incident. The Victorian Government has declared it wants a fair share of the May federal budget, with funding for the Murray-Darling Rail project high on the agenda. Victorian Treasurer Tim Pallas says work has already begun on the project, but numerous requests for federal funding have been met with silence. It comes as the Andrews government says Victorians have been getting significantly less funding than other states for road and rail projects. But the Victorian opposition has slammed the claim, saying it's a pathetic accusation by Labor, who should be funding this and other similar projects itself. And after the break tonight, truck drivers urged to turn on their headlights in memory of a Barnawatha man. And the Hume Dam close to only a quarter full. Welcome back this Easter Monday. It's been 100 years since Corriedale sheep were first exhibited at the Sydney Royal Easter Show. The breed is still thriving and holds a special place in Australian war history, dating back to the landing at Anzac Cove.
It's been more than a century since the ill-fated landing of the Anzacs at Gallipoli, a campaign that had a profound impact on our nation, leaving a lasting legacy. Tanya Dendrinos, Win News.
Truck drivers across Australia are being urged to turn their headlights on tomorrow in memory of Barnawartha Northman Wayne Martin, killed in a crash on Thursday. The 27-year-old was involved in a collision at Deniliquin after his truck collided head-on with another on the Riverina Highway. Family members are now asking truckies to take part in the Lights On for Wayne to show their respects. Researchers say we need to take a more strategic approach to hazard reduction burning to combat the impact on wildlife. A study shows fire can restrict breeding for some animals, but there is one exception to the rule: a tiny lizard which thrives after a blaze.
As the weather cools, firefighters prepare for next season. But it's this backburning which university researchers say could be harming our wildlife.
It was one of the first studies to find that fire can actually restrict the movement of animals in their habitat.
Jaleesa Rapps, Win News.
The Hume Dam has dropped from 27.2 to 26.9% capacity over the Easter long weekend. The figures are slightly down from this time last year when levels were at 30%. It comes after no rain was recorded in Albury on Sunday, followed by another warm and dry day across the border today. I'll have full weather details for you later in the Bulletin. The Red Hot Summer Tour has wrapped up in Victoria with the last shows staged overnight. Thousands of music fans sang along with Jimmy Barnes, The Angels and Mark Seymour.
Bonnie Doon was abuzz with excitement as thousands converged on the lake town for a chance to see some of Australia's top rock acts perform. Ashley Kanowski, Win News.
Meanwhile, for the second year running, a Ballarat 15-year-old has won the women's gift. Front marker Talia Martin held off a fast finishing field to deliver coach Peter O'Dwyer his third women's gift win in a row.
Fined by stewards after running poorly in Ararat 2 weeks ago.
Off now, Martin.
Peter O'Dwyer trained Martin was determined to put her best foot forward on the main stage. Running off 13 metres, she didn't disappoint.
Wrexham coming out of the back marker, starting to fly home. The 15-year-old's hung on though. She gritted her teeth and got there. And Talia Martin has made it back-to-back victories for 15-year-olds in the women's gift.
Wes Cusworth, Win News.
It is time for tonight's Sport Report with Amy Duggan. And Amy, it's been another tough weekend for the region's rep outfits.
It has been, Bruce. Murray United suffered a heavy loss. Albury smashed Lavington in football's grand final rematch, and Wodonga edged out the Saints. In sport, Brendan Favola's career at Yarrawonga is over, and he left it in style, kicking 9 goals in a 98-point hiding of the Wangaratta Rovers.
A bumper crowd approaching 5,000 wanted to see more Brendan Favola magic, and he provided it, particularly in the second and third quarters. In an era that will never be forgotten, with 366 goals in 66 games, an outstanding average of 5.5.
Meanwhile, Albury stunned the league in the season opener with an 83-point hiding of Lavington in a grand final rematch. Star recruit Josh Mellington kicked 8 goals and Satana O'Halpin 7. The Tigers forced to play 2 men down in the second quarter, with Satana and his sibling Azaki sent off.
It's potentially the best team in O&M history, with 5 former AFL players. However, just like last year's grand final, it was the underdog with the first goal through Adam Pryor. Andrew Moyer, Win News.
Meanwhile, in O&M netball, Wodonga has edged out Myrtlefoot Alpine Saints. The home team restricted Wodonga to 6 goals in the final term, but the visitors held on.
With star shooter Jane Cook in the background, Wodonga started its defence of the title, while Myrtleford was coming off the wooden spoon. Ashley Charlton, Win News.
The top seed has fallen short at Albury's Easter tennis tournament. Mitchell Berman was a 5th-ranked player but proved too strong for Glenn Dawes in straight sets. Berman's ranked 365 in Australia, while Dawes sits just inside the top 75. Meanwhile, in the women's final, teenager Jessica Brozwoska also won in straight sets 6-3, 6-2. The second seed toppled Chorlita Kang from the ACT. Kang was ranked number 5. Officials were delighted with this year's increased entries of 280. In soccer, Murray United FC has suffered a fourth straight loss in the National Premier League. The home team's Lionel Masudi scored in the final minutes as the Moreland Zebras posted a 4-1 win.
Murray started the second half 2 goals down, Lionel Masudi with an early shot, and the outsiders soon had another opportunity as the visitors turned the ball over, but Jeffrey Lino was unable to make the most of it. Andrew Moyer, Win News.
And that is our day in sport, Bruce.
Great, Amy. Thank you very much. Certainly a busy long weekend for sport. We have the weather details for you next with good news as the temperature starts to ramp up towards next weekend. Hello again. Mostly cloudy with temperatures around the mid-20 degree mark. The winds were blowing from everywhere at different times this Easter Monday. Let's have a look at the details. Overnight we saw Albury-Wodonga drop to 13 degrees but got up to 25. Very similar temperatures for Tumbarumba, seeing 24, and Corryong up to 26. And the 20s continued right across as we look at the west of the region. Benalla seeing 23, Yarrawonga 24 degrees. On the satellite, high cloud streaming over western Victoria ahead of a low pressure trough is producing virtually no rain. Low cloud in the south with cool onshore winds is causing a few showers. Skies are clearer in the east. On the synoptic, a broad trough will generate showers and thunderstorms across eastern South Australia and eastern Victoria as well as southern New South Wales. To the forecast, stand cloudy and the chance of a shower in the afternoon and into the evening, maybe even a thunderstorm. Tumbarumba 8 overnight but getting up to 23. Corryong seeing 24. 24 also for Bright tomorrow. Beechworth 9 overnight but getting up to 23. Corowa 25. Yarrawonga up to 25 as well. So for Albury-Wodonga in detail, a shower or two with the temperature remaining consistent, 25 degrees. For Melbourne, cloudy with southerly winds up to 19. Sydney should see a humid day before clearing with a late thunderstorm, 26. And in the days ahead, partly cloudy for Wednesday. Thursday, mostly sunny, and then some good news for Friday. Partly cloudy with temperatures on the rise before what's predicted to be a sunny weekend. And finally tonight, the Border Steam and Oil Engine Club celebrated its 44th year during the Easter long weekend. The display showcased a 100-year-old Jalbert vintage tractor donated by a couple from Tabletop. The Leneva events had a vintage collection of tractors on display such as steam, oil, kerosene, diesel, as well as petrol engines. Organisers say the Jalbert tractor provided a perfect centrepiece for the festival, with planning underway for the 45th anniversary next year. Thanks for your company this Easter Monday. See you at 7 tomorrow.
This has been a Win News presentation from Win, Australia's #1 regional television network.